Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we have talked about sleep physiology. In the beginning of this lecture, we have talked about some requirements of sleep, then some factors which influences the sleep pattern. Then we discussed about the stages of the sleep. Then we discussed about some biorhythms, and then at the end we talked about some applied physiology. So from the very beginning, what is sleep? It is an altered state of consciousness, or you can say a state of state of rest for body and for brain. And if we talk about requirements, you can see over here. A newborn infant, sleep requirements are about 18 to 20 hours a day. In growing children, 12 to 14 hours. In adults, 7 to 9 hours. In old age, 5 to 7 hours. And there are few factors which influences, or you can say start or helps in beginning of the sleep. First of all, there is decreased sensory input, decreased reticular activity, reticular formation activity, and decreased thalamocortical fibers and fatigue. These four factors helps in initiation of sleep. You can see decreased sensory input, decreased reticular action, decreased thalamocortical fibers, and fatigue. Then there are some factors in sleep, some changes. First of all, blood pressure. Normal is about 120/80, but in blood pressure in sleep it is about 90 to 100. Sorry, 90 to 110. And the lowest level of blood pressure occur at fourth hour of sleep. And blood pressure can increase if you have some excited dreams. And then pulse, normal pulse we know 72, heartbeat we talk about 60 to 100, but in sleep it is 45 to 60 beats per minute. Then respiratory rate, it is a Cheyne-Stokes pattern type of breathing respiration during sleep, like increase with the passage of time with respiration, the depth of respiration increases, and then we have apnea, and again respiration starts. It's Cheyne-Stokes breathing. Then we have muscular tone. All the muscles, tone of the muscles become decreased except the extraocular muscles. Then we have urine output. Urine secretion formation is decreased in sleep, but urine specific gravity will increase. Then upward deviation of the eyeball, especially in the random eye movement sleep. We will talk about that later on. Then we have constriction of the pupil, but light reflex will be positive. And then we have decreased secretions of, or you can say decreased salivatory gland secretion and lacrimal gland secretion, and increased gastric and sweat gland secretion. Then we have normally we have negative sign of Babinski, but in sleep we have positive Babinski sign. We know in Babinski sign sorry, we touch the sole of the foot and we see the movement of our toe. So positive Babinski sign, positive in sleep. Okay, now we will talk about cycles. You can say suprachiasmatic. What is the center for sleep is suprachiasmatic nucleus. We have talked about that. Suprachiasmatic nucleus gets direct input from retina, or you can say direct connection with the environment, and then in daylight it will. Okay, we'll talk about suprachiasmatic nucleus. It controls the nocturnal secretions or nighttime secretions of ACTH, melatonin, norepinephrine, and prolactin. Melatonin, prolactin, norepinephrine, and ACTH. And the suprachiasmatic nucleus in daytime with with having connection with the environment and retina will release a norepinephrine that will act on pineal gland, and it will secrete melatonin. Then if we talk about EEG, electroencephalography. What is EEG? It is the graphical representation of electrical activity of the heart, especially the pyramidal cells of cerebral cortex. It consists of simultaneous, or you can say it consists of stimulatory and inhibitory synaptic potential in the pyramidal cells of cerebral cortex. And we will talk about some few basic rhythms, normal rhythms, but we may have different EEG. First of all, epilepsy, and we know in epilepsy increased discharge of impulses from the cerebral cortex. Secondly, midbrain disease, in which disturbance in the reticular formation tracts. Then thirdly, we have a subdural hematoma that will compresses our cerebral cortex, and EEG will be disturbed in these three conditions. Then normally, what happens in EEG, you can say graphical representation of electrical activity of the cortex. alternating stimulatory and inhibitory synaptic potential in pyramidal cells, the cerebral cortex. First of all is alpha rhythms or alpha wave, you can say. These are synchronized, and it happens with closed eyes, and you can say when a person in a drowsy condition or with narcosis, or you can see over here synchronized with closed eyes in narcosis, and most commonly parieto-occipital lobe dominantly shows alpha rhythms, plus light sleep. It also it happens in light sleep, and drowsiness plus inattentive brain, it will show alpha rhythms. You can see over here these are the synchronized alpha rhythms, and suddenly if you open your eyes, then will be loss of alpha rhythm, and after once you close your eyes again, it will again start alpha synchronized rhythms in light sleep, drowsiness, narcosis. Then we have beta rhythm. These are the desynchronized, and increased frequency, decreased amplitude is frequency become increased more than its normal concentration, then it will be known as gamma rhythms. There is no effect of eyes closing or opening in this rhythm, and it happens in active state, beta rhythm with opened eyes. And then we have delta rhythms or delta waves. It happens in deep sleep in adults, and in early childhood occurs in awakening condition. And if it is happen other than these two circumstances, it means there is a epilepsy or a tumor or encephalitis or depression. Epilepsy, tumor, increased intracranial pressure, and depression will give you a disturbed and abnormal delta waves by EEG, electroencephalography. Then we have theta rhythms. Theta rhythm happens in less than 5 years of age in children mostly, and decreased frequency and decreased amplitude is the characteristic features of theta rhythms. Now we will talk about some stages of sleep. Every night we have 5 cycles. You can say cycle repeats 5 times per night. What are these cycles or stages? First one is awake stage with open eyes, and we have talked about with open eyes. You can see over here with your open eyes or active state we have beta rhythms. You can see over here, and there is no fun in telling. These are desynchronized states, increased frequency, decreased amplitude, and if in frequency increase more than normal, it's called gamma rhythm. Then we have awake condition with closed eyes. We have talked about over here. Alpha rhythms have synchronized rhythms with drowsy condition, mental you can say drowsiness and narcosis, and you can say it's a light sleep and with closed eyes and inattentive brain. We will have alpha rhythms in awake state with closed eyes. And thirdly, we have a non-random eye movement sleep, which is 75%. And we have subdivisions for this non-REM sleep, N1, N2, and N3. N1 is 5%. It is called light sleep, in which we have theta rhythms. Then we have N2, 45% of the sleep. This is the deeper sleep. And in deeper sleep, we have sleep spindles and K complex on EEG, plus we have bruxism, the teeth grinding, in N2 stage of non-REM sleep. Then we have N3, 25%, and it is deepest sleep, and you can say bedwetting and sleep terror or night terror and sleepwalking are the features of N3 deepest sleeps, and delta rhythms will be shown on EEG. Then we have REM sleep or random eye movement sleep, and this is in this sleep our brain uses increased oxygen, increased amount of acetylcholine will be released, and it is the duration of the REM sleep is 90 minutes, and duration from 90 minutes goes on increasing with the night, with the duration of night. You can say first time it has 90 minutes of duration. In next cycle, because we have 5 cycles in a week, it will be 95 minutes or 100 minutes even. And in random eye movement sleep, we have nightmares and all the dreamings and tumescence, or you can say erection of the penis and clitoris in REM eye movement sleep. And what is the difference between nightmare and night terror? We have talked about first difference. Nightmare is present in REM sleep, and night terror or sleep terror present in non-REM sleep. And nightmare mostly present in adults, and night terror or sleep terror present occurs in children. And most importantly, nightmares are the you can say when you remember the details of the dream, it is called nightmare, and when you can't remember any detail of the dream, it is called night terror or sleep terror. Then we have, okay, after the random movement, these are the 5 stages, first, second and third, and then 3 of them is forced random eye movement sleep. And now, okay, if we talk about extraocular gaze, why this is random eye movement? This is the horizontal gaze of our eyeball with our closed eyes, because all other muscular tone is decreased, all other reflexes, tendon reflexes are decreased, but extraocular muscles are active. Why? Because PPRF, paramedian pontine reticular formation, is active, present in the pons, which is center for horizontal gaze. So that's why in random eye sleep, our eyeballs are horizontally moving, and all the features you can see over here. And there are few features which decreases the random eye movement and N3 sleep. First of all, elderly patients, the duration of REM sleep is decreased from 90 down from maybe 80, maybe 70. Maybe drugs using benzodiazepines, barbiturates and alcohol, they can decrease the REM sleep and N3 stage of the non-REM sleep. Then we have few features. Okay, first of all, depression. It increases the REM duration, random eye movement sleep, and plus it increases the nighttime awakening, and most importantly, early morning awakening, that is called terminal insomnia. So these are the features due to depression. You can say increased REM, increased nighttime awakening, and early morning awakening, called terminal insomnia. Or you can say a person wish to wake up at 8 a.m. he will be waked up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and with night time multiple awakening associated with early morning awakening, called you can say terminal insomnia. Okay, then we will talk about some biorhythms. This is the bodily functions controlled by our internal clock. An internal clock is suprachiasmatic nucleus getting direct input for retina, or you can say environment. And which bodily functions are controlled by this internal clock? Sleep, awake, thermoregulation, hormones, metabolism, heart rate, blood pressure, blood sugar, blood cholesterol, immune system, DNA repair, and all these things are being controlled by our internal clock called suprachiasmatic nucleus. And then we will talk about some other rhythms: diurnal rhythm, day and night rhythm; circadian rhythm, 24-hour cycle. Diurnal rhythm and circadian rhythm, you can see after the sunset they will release a hormone called melatonin by a specific mechanism we have discussed. Then the person will go to sleep. Then we have ultradian. The duration of the ultradian rhythm is less than 24 hours. Examples are heart rate, temperature, blood circulation, micturition, appetite, blink, and pulse are the examples of ultradian rhythm. Then we have infradian rhythm or circulunar rhythm, which is 24 hours to 1 month. Examples of this rhythm is menses or hibernation in squirrels and breeding. Lastly, we have circannular rhythm, which is 1 year of duration, and examples are reproduction, weight gain, and mood suicides. Then we have few things which are biological rhythm disruptions. First one is jet lag disorder. What is jet lag disorder? Sudden change in time zone. Sudden change in time zone. Suppose when you are on a long distance flight, there is a sudden change of time zone from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, China. All if you cross these time zones, suddenly it will confuse our internal clock, and you will have insomnia, fatigability, indigestion, irritability, loss of focus. This is called jet lag disorder due to sudden change in time zone, confuses our internal clock. And sign and symptoms of this jet lag disorder depends upon how many or number of it depends upon the number of time zones you crossed. And insomnia, fatigue, indigestion, irritability, and loss of focus are these features with jet lag disorder, which disrupt our biological rhythm. Then we have night shift disorder, which changes our natural inclinations. Because someone is doing night shift, and chances are there it will disturb his or her daily routine life. He will have a sleep at daytime, feeling drowsy all the day. It will disrupt our biological rhythm. Then we have a DSP disorder, delayed sleep phase disorder, which is most importantly, or you can say mostly associated with adults, or you can say younger adults, adolescents, in early age, teenagers. Then, okay, there are 6 things we have to follow in order to correct our disturbed biological rhythm. First one is soak in early in the morning in sunset. You have to go to sunset in early in the morning, have a sunset. Then secondly, go to bed for sleep and awake at the same time. And thirdly, have exercise in the daytime. Fourthly, avoid caffeine after 12 p.m. Fifth, avoid artificial light before bedtime. And sixth, avoid long nap and avoid nap too close to your bedtime. So by following these 6 steps, you can make your biorhythm correct. First one was soak in sunlight early in your daytime, go to bed and awake at same time, exercise at the daytime. It will help you to sleep early and wake up on time, and avoid artificial light before bed, and avoid caffeine intake after 12 p.m. and avoid long nap and avoid nap too close to your bedtime. Then there are few applied things regarding with sleep. First of all is insomnia, inability to sleep or inability to initiate sleep. Why it happens? Maybe due to systemic disorder, mental disorder, maybe drug withdrawal or alcohol withdrawal, you can have insomnia. Then we have hypersomnia, you can say somnolence, excessive sleep. In this, how it can happen? Maybe tumor or lesion at the roof of the third ventricle, maybe due to chronic bronchitis, maybe due to encephalitis, or maybe due to some, you can say, endocrine disorder or muscular disorder. Endocrine disorders are myxedema and diabetes insipidus. These are the few features which will leads to the hypersomnia or somnolence, excessive sleep. Then we have narcolepsy and cataplexy. We have discussed in detail in previous classes. Narcolepsy, what is narcolepsy? It is the daytime dreaming. You can say uncontrolled, sudden urge to sleep in daytime, and person fall asleep for a few seconds, and that if the person have narcolepsy associated with a outburst of emotions, maybe angry or sad, that is called cataplexy. And why this happens? Due to lesion in the hypothalamus. Then we have sleep apnea syndrome. What happens in sleep apnea syndrome? Sleep apnea syndrome, why it happens? Maybe due to brainstem lesion, maybe obesity, maybe tonsillitis, maybe myxedema. What happens in this? Loud snoring and daytime sleeping and early morning headache and fatigue. You can see over here, sign symptoms are daytime dreaming, loud snoring, and morning headache and fatigue. And why it happens? Maybe brainstem lesion, maybe obesity, maybe myxedema, or maybe tonsillitis are the causes of sleep apnea disorder. Then we have nightmare, night terror. We have discussed night terrors mostly happen in children, and because children don't remember the details of their dreams. And nightmare, it happens in adults when a person feeling having kind of you can say load on their chest. They feel that. Why it happens? Nightmares due to digestive problem, nervous disorder, or drug withdrawal or alcohol withdrawal. And then we have somnambulism. Somna means sleep, and ambulism means to walk. The person is walking in the sleep with his opened eyes. Why it happened? Due to psychoneurosis, some psychological problems. Okay, lastly we have nocturnal enuresis. It mostly happens in children when children go, it's called bedwetting. Nocturnal enuresis. And then we have movement disorder related to sleep, which is called sleep start or hypnic jerk. What happens over here? It is due to you can say psychologically clonus. You can say jerky movements of the upper limb or lower limb due to psychologically problems, stress, and with bruxism, grinding of the teeth. And what is psychological clonus? Before that, what is clonus? Clonus is you can say involuntary rhythmic muscular contraction due to permanent lesion in the lower motor neurons, or you can say descending motor neurons. It is called clonus. And if that clonus happens due to any psychological problem, maybe stress, or maybe any psychoneurosis, any psychiatric disorder, that is called psychic clonus, which happens in sleep start, hypnic jerk, or movement associated disorder with sleep. So that were a few clinical features regarding with sleep, and then we discussed about some features we have to do to make our sleep better. Then we discussed some biological rhythm disrupting things, jet lag, night shift, and DSP disorder. Then we discussed some biological rhythms and all that. Then we have discussed stages, first, second, third. You can say awake, with opened eyes, with closed eyes, and with the non-REM and REM sleep. And these are the features you must not forget. Dreaming, tumescence of penis and coitus, and nightmare are the features of REM sleep. That is the, you can say, a sleep with a person having movement of their eyeball due to extraocular muscle, due to the activation of the PPRF, pyramidal pontine reticular formation, activation. And in that stage, the brain uses more oxygen, increased release of acetylcholine. Then non-REM sleep, you should not forget N1, N2, N3, theta waves. Light sleep, N1 light sleep, N2 deeper sleep, and N3 is deepest sleep. And in deepest sleep, we have bedwetting, sleep terror, and sleepwalking. That's why we give norepinephrine, because we have discussed norepinephrine over here, elderly, benzodiazepine, barbiturates, and norepinephrine. All these features decreases REM and N3, and depression increase REM. And a person having complaints for sleep terror or a sleepwalking, we give benzodiazepine to treat these patients. Why? Mechanism we know, because benzodiazepine will decrease REM and decrease N3. Decrease N3 means decrease night sleep terror, decrease sleepwalking, and decrease nightmares, and decrease dreaming and all that. So then we have discussed already about these theta waves, delta waves, and all waves. Then suprachiasmatic, then some features over there. So that was about our sleep physiology. Thank you so much.